how's it going?
Hey.
Jacob, it's time to explain timing.
Timing.
Okay?
Okay.
This video is going to explain how we get there. Okay?
Alright.
Why we decide on it, let's say. And because every car is different, we'll do some with the Barracuda, we'll do some with the Roadrunner. But this one's going to show the three different timings that we typically use. We have initial, we have total, and we have vacuum. What's the most important one?
Total.
Total timing is the most important one. I would say the second most important one is your initial. That's what's going to make it easy to drive around town. A stoplight to stoplight, starting it up in the morning when it's cold. Those are the. So what we're going to do here is a brief explanation of how we get to our total timing. We can't just throw a timing light on the car and say that's it. So we have to get there.
Yeah.
Now it's not as hard as everybody thinks, but we've got our ears. We can listen for pinging, but if you got a loud exhaust system, it doesn't really work.
Yes.
It has to be done at wide open throttle. I don't care if it's a slant 6 or 383 or whatever. When you nail the throttle, that's when we're going to decide on total timing right there. Okay. So have fun with that. Be careful.
Yes.
All right. Now I'm going to say this. If you don't know where your timing should be, start low. Start like 28 degrees and then creep it up. And I'm going to show you what your spark plug should look like. And we'll talk about some sensors too that we can use. And I really love them sensors. They've been around for a while. I made my own. And I like the way it works. So later on, I purchased one, and I'll show you that working.
All right.
And man, I'm telling you, when it's in the Roadrunner and you're driving down the road, it hits you, and you go, "Uh-oh, what do we got?" So make sure you got good gas. Not necessarily premium. If you need premium, if you need mid-grade, use it. Don't waste no time. But if your car can run without it and not ping, don't waste the money. All right. We're going to show you the methods, okay? You have to find your own total.
Yep.
And then we'll do your initial and your vacuum, and you go from there.
All right.
Okay, now the total timing thing.
Yeah.
Jacob, when we do total timing, like I said already, you got to be wide open throttle.
Yes.
Very important, read your plugs. Don't read one. Get the easiest one to get you started.
Yes.
Okay? But when you get there to the point where you're getting satisfied, you're going to have to check every one of those plugs and see if any of them need more timing or need less timing. Okay? Again, need less timing. If you push one cylinder into detonation and the rest could use 3 or 4 more degrees, tough. You're done right there because you can't get down the track on 7 cylinders and one hanging out of the block. All right? So it's not a complicated thing. So this is a matter of applying what you find out. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So Jacob, the first thing we got to do is we are going to check the timing on the car.
Okay.
And we're going to show all three of them. How do we check initial? How do we check total? How do we check vacuum? Okay. But let's just start off with our drawing over here.
All right.
If you have a timing tab on your timing chain cover and you got your harmonic dampener spinning, there's your timing mark right there. And that is your 0 mark. Now you're going to start the engine. You're going to rev it up, and as your timing light is on, this timing light is, as the engine RPMs go up, is going to move this way on your tab because the timing is advancing as the engine speed goes up. Now, anything this way would be retarded. Most engines are 0 to advanced. All right, so we're going to take a look at that. So what you do is you rev the engine till this stops moving. You look at the RPM that is at, and that tells you your distributor advance curve as far as RPM is concerned. Once it stops moving and you can rev it up higher than that, it stays there, then you're going to adjust the advance button on your timing light or turn your knob until that line lines back up to here, and then you're going to look at your knob or your meter on your timing light, and that's going to tell you what your total with initial is. Then you're going to let off and you're going to let it idle. And if your distributor hasn't been messed around with or recurved, then this mark is going to line up with whatever your initial is. And when it gets there, you move your advance or retard until the line lines back up with your 0 mark, and then you read it again, and that tells you what your initial timing is. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing again. Let's say it topped out at 3,000 RPMs. It was done advancing. You're going to rev it up to 3,000 RPMs, and you're going to hook your vacuum line to your vacuum advance. That's what I should have said first, is the vacuum advance line needs to be disconnected when you do this test for initial and total. Now when you go to do this again, initial and total with the vacuum line attached, this line's going to move this way again, so you're going to hit that advance button until it gets back to 0, and that'll tell you what your initial plus mechanical or centrifugal plus vacuum advance is. And that's how you get to those numbers. So let's go demonstrate that.
Okay.
And we need something like this. We got the fancy dancy and we got the old school dead one here. Now this one works. It's not dead. It works. And it's hilarious. And I've kept it all these years. But these will work. Okay. But this makes it way easier, a lot more accurate. Okay. The most accurate type is using a timing tape. You can use that, but this will do the job excellent. You want one of these. So in order to do your total timing, you need a timing light, and get a good one. Okay, you don't have to get the $1 million one. This one here, I can't remember, $60 at O'Reilly's maybe. This one here was probably handed down from my dad or something. And you know, that's old school stuff. It works just fine.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to do the stock timing here on the Barracuda.
All right.
Now the Barracuda's distributor's been recurved, but we're going to show you how you get your initial, your total, and your vacuum here on really a stock engine. After we're done doing this, we're going to jump over to the Roadrunner, and I'm going to show you what stock timing does to a big cam engine, and I'll show you what proper initial timing does. But I'll tell you what the numbers are in the Roadrunner. You got to go get your own numbers. You got to go find out your own when you get done doing all the procedures to find it. All right. So the first thing you do when you're doing your stock timing, this is for the people that are interested in doing it for the first time or really just want to make sure they're doing it right. Okay. First thing you do is you disconnect your vacuum advance hose. All right. So we got our timing light. You can see we're at 750 RPMs, 0 on the meter now. Now when I shoot this down here, I don't think the camera's going to be able to see the timing mark. But I'll go ahead and hit the button until it lines up, and then you'll see where we're at. Okay, I don't know if the timing light can, or I mean the camera can see it, but we're at 20 degrees. Factory says to put it at 0. All right. Now, next thing we're going to do, this is how we do, we have to rev the engine up until the mechanical advance is fully advanced. So we'll reach down here. Okay, that's fully advanced, and we're at okay. Okay, So now that's our initial plus our mechanical or centrifugal advance.
Now we got vacuum.
Okay, and that's that's all three timings put together. 48 degrees total advance, vacuum, centrifugal, and idle. And that's how you do it. So what can we do to decide where our total timing should be? Well, there's a few different ways. And your spark plug's the number one way to see. Okay? Now, if you look at this ground strap, let me get something to point at this ground strap with. That looks good. If you look at this ground strap right here, you see this area right here that's kind of got a different color compared to where it goes around the corner. We want that to be down. We want this color here to be down almost to the base of our spark plug. Now, I've heard people say to the base, and some pretty good racers I've heard say that. But me personally, I run it down till it's maybe a 1/16 of an inch off the base. That is telling us what our ignition timing is. If you take your spark plug out and you see this change of color here, and it stops right here, you can advance the timing. Now, that is one way to establish your total. That's done at wide open throttle, not at part throttle. You need to put a plug in, you need to run down the strip, or you need to take it out on the highway. Do it safe, please, but you got to go down the road and wide open throttle, and then you can check this. Another way you can see, I like to bring the timing up to the point where it just pings and backs off, but in a race car you can't hear that, because in a race car there's usually no exhaust. But if you have a very quiet exhaust system, you can hear a ping. And I adjust it till it stops pinging, then I back it a couple degrees off. But if your engine is pinging and you don't know, you can look down here in what's normally white. Now, this spark plug was running a little bit on the rich side. I think it was burning oil too. But in any case, it will look like little bitty fly poops on there. And those fly poops that are on there, work together here, get that in the screen. Those fly poops that would be down in here are usually small pieces of aluminum off the piston. And so that's one of the things that happens during pinging or detonation. Okay? So make sure you don't have the fly poops. And then, of course, you can check your timing here. Okay? Detonation is murder for your engine. Having your timing retarded is leaving power on the table. Okay? Now, let's go check something else. All right, this cool little deal here is a knock sensor. It's got a series of LED lights, and you have to get yourself knock sensors. Now, what these are microphones, basically, and these microphones have a crystal inside there, and it makes a small voltage when it hears a knock in your engine. And you would attach it to your engine block somewhere, somehow. Now, when you attach it, the knock is going to go through the cast iron and hit this sensor. that sensor's going to send a signal up to our knock sensor and make our LEDs flash. So if your timing is too far advanced, it'll make this flash, and that'll tell you instantly your timing is too far advanced. Okay, now you see this one here? This is the one that I use on the Chrysler. There's a water plug down here. You take that plug out and you screw this one on. These are typically on GMs, and it does the same thing. There's a wire here that comes out, and when it hears a sound of a ping or a knock, it makes this little light flash right here. That's another way that we can determine if our ignition timing is too high. Again, too high is no good. Too low is leaving power on the table. You can see the little LED is glowing there to say it's turned on. And we go down to our knock sensor. So Jacob, you go ahead, and he's going to gently tap the block with this hammer. Now we have it on the least sensitivity right now, so go ahead and tap that thing. Okay, give it a rap. Okay, did it go all the way up?
Yep.
So here's the thing, is this little knock sensor right here, when you set your timing,
yeah,
if it's too high and the engine starts to knock, you get that little flashy light in your eye. This is a real quick way to find your total, because eventually you're going to adjust the timing back and those little LEDs will no longer light up when you go wide open throttle. All right, so I forget how much this cost. I don't even remember where I got it, but anyway, it's something that you can find them. Just a knock sensor, and put that in your car and run your wiring to your knock sensor. This is the knock monitor. That's the knock sensor. That's a GM style there. You can use just about any style, Jacob. You can use a Toyota or a Nissan style, and you just have to mount it to the block securely. And anyway, let's do one more quickie test on it.
Alright.
So we got our timing at 45 degrees right now, and you nail the throttle, look what happens. All right, so don't set your timing too far, and this will tell you right away.
Yep.
Okay. Now the car is set at 0 degrees like the factory says it should be.
Yep.
Jacob, let's fire it up and see how it runs.
Alrighty then. Okay, there's a key. Set it off. We've got the timing set at 30 degrees total, 18 degrees initial. And let's show you how this thing runs after we did the timing set at the 0 degrees, which is what the factory tells us to do. Okay, so check this out. What a difference it is. You ready? Let's do it. Go ahead and fire it up. All right, I'll go fire it up.
Okay.
There it goes.
Alright, so you saw the way it was when it was at 0 degrees where the book says to put it. Watch this. That's where it's supposed to be right there.
Yep.
Alright. So, Jacob, what do you do when you like a video?
Like and subscribe.
That's right.